say hi to everybody. You can talk to when you came in. Glad you're here tonight. We are going to start the meeting with our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could they have a moment of silence? Tammy, would you do the roll call of members, please?
Carrie Armagon. Megan Dreher. Brady Pike.
Here.
Diane Page.
Here.
Jeff Powell.
Here.
Corey Sherman.
Here.
Janine Stump.
Here.
Eric Sandlin.
Here.
Kelly Terwilliger.
Here. Thank you. Do I have a motion or do I have any suggestions for the official minutes from last month, or a motion to approve as they are?
Make a motion to approve as they are.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion at all? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so we'll start out tonight with some public participation. I think we have Mara Judd here from the ACV Keystone Youth Football Program and the ABC Cheerleading.
Yes.
Would you come to the microphone, please? Thank you.
In the past, another cheer program through a cheer-rama. In the past few years, it has not happened. So we are wanting to host a cheer-rama here by renting out, preferably the elementary school. We would use the gym for the actual competition, the theater for warm-up, and then concessions in the cafeteria. I talked to Mr. Pivot, and I told him whatever you guys would like to charge us, we're open to. We do understand that we have to pay for the janitors, which is how I thought would be here. And I suggested quite a few different dates in November, because I know there's other activities going on. So that's it.
Okay, so this would be for students just in our district or?
No, we would be inviting, it's 10 other, I think it's approximately 10 other programs that are in the ABC league. It's Montauk, Slippery Rock, Grove City, Carn City, Union, I don't know all the leagues off the top of my head. And it'd be inviting all the cheerleaders, their parents, family members to watch them cheer instead of watching the football players play. So give them an opportunity to shine.
We'll work around the athletic schedule that I noted earlier, but I just wonder with that many people, are you sure the junior, senior high school wouldn't be a better location?
I've never actually been in high school, so whatever, I'm open to either
Because we could
location.
hold a lot more people.
Yeah, and I know the cheer coaches, we're open to either one. We like this because of the theater, but we're fine up there as well. So
I'm
whatever.
not sure how many parents we could get in over there.
Okay.
Depending, do you have a number in the past?
No, but I guess we have the theater at the high school as well, so we could, that would actually be preferable.
I've been to some of those events and they do draw a very large crowd. So I'm gonna say the high school will be
Yeah, I'm
best.
good with that. So that'd be perfect.
I'll work with the athletic department and staff and
Okay.
reach out to you.
Awesome.
If that's okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So when we get to the consent agenda here very shortly, we would need to add that as a request to use the facility. We don't have a date, however, so we would just indicate that it would be date to be determined based on the calendar schedule. Okay? All right, so we don't have any other presentations that I know of. Are there any board concerns? Not seeing any, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda you would like pulled for a separate vote? Okay, we're gonna add letter E, which is consideration to approve the request from the ACV Keystone Youth Football Program, ABC Cheerleading, to hold an event at the junior, senior high school on a date to be determined. That sound okay?
Yes.
And then as far as a cost, is that something you want us to figure out?
I think youth cheer is open to whatever we'd like to charge them for the event.
Okay.
For youth football, we do charge them $300 for the year and $40 for any game that's in the evening.
but have to pay for the janitor, I don't know how much.
Might need more than one, wouldn't they, if it's a large,
Possibly.
They pay the janitor, the youth football pays the janitor on their own right now, so, and I think we do the same thing for this event also. We may need to, depending on, the situation, how many people we're gonna have. And you plan on having it soon, or are you gonna have it in the winter, or you?
It was in the month of November.
do we want to suggest an amount?
Or we can accept a donation from them. We don't have a fee schedule created for an activity.
I think if they pay the janitors and a donation would be fine.
So we'll make that in the motion that we'll accept a donation from the program for the use of the facility. Plus they will pay for the janitors, the custodians. Sound okay? All right, so then we're looking at the consent agenda, A through E with that new one added. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion for any item? Okay, not seeing or hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we've approved the consent agenda, so we'll move on to finance and purchase. Meg, you are a finance person.
I'm gonna lump A through F together, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion of any item there? Seeing any? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries.
G, cafeteria report, Mrs. Ray.
Well, we got some very exciting news, and we all know now that all the students are gonna be available or offered a free breakfast starting October 1st. It's just breakfast for now. We've heard a little rumbling about maybe lunch, but right now, starting October 1st, all students will have a free breakfast available to them, and the state is gonna reimburse us at the higher rate that they would have had we continued the SSO program. So we're really, really glad to hear that. I'm excited that the kids will get to come in and have their breakfast. We're still working out some logistics as to how we're going to get all of them in one place at one time, if they all choose to eat for free, because we don't have room for 212 kids at tables. So I'm working with Mrs. Sherman. It sounds like we'll probably have 5th and 6th grade take their things up, put their things in a bag or on a disposable tray so that they can dispose of their things in the classroom and be done eating by that 8:15 that they get started. And the high school, Dr. Jordan and I believe that we have enough room for all of them to be able to come in and eat, especially with the kids that come in that aren't on the bus, that they can come in and be gone possibly before the students come in the bus. Our numbers for breakfast at the high school have been incredibly low. We're only getting about 20 kids every morning. I'm hoping that the free breakfast will entice them to come in time to eat. And that's been the biggest thing when I've talked to some of the kids up there as they come through. I'm like, hey, where have you been for breakfast? And they're like, well, we used to come in and go to class, and they were allowed to come down, get the grab-and-go breakfast because they couldn't eat together, and they were allowed to take those back to their classroom and eat. And then things as we don't do the grab-and-go, they have to come through, they have to pick up their lunch, and they have to eat it in the cafeteria. So the classrooms are no longer an option for eating. So those ones that are coming in with 3 minutes to get to class are not having that time to eat. So I'm hoping now that it's free, maybe they'll come in 10 or 15 minutes early and take that time to grab breakfast before they head to class. I expect to see a huge uptake. Right now, we're doing approximately, our average has been 111 for breakfast at the elementary school. And we've only had 18 serving days. So that's where we're at now. I know that number is going to double on October 1st because even if they eat breakfast at home, if those kids see something on a tray that they like from somebody else, they will be in and grab breakfast and find a place to sit down. Our averages for breakfast, like I said, for the elementary, we're averaging about 100, and we're at about 184 for lunches, which is a really nice number. Last year, with it being free, we were doing just shy of 285. So, like I said, we're down about 100 of the kids that come back to pack, and we did expect that because a lot of our kids that were counted in that 284, 285 were packing and coming in for a free lunch. Now that the parents have to pay for that, they're no longer allowed, I'm sure, to pack their lunch and come in to eat, although we still do get a few. Like I said, the high school's averaging about 20 for breakfast and 122 for lunch. So we've lost about 80 kids, maybe 70 kids from lunch at the high school. But I also know that our senior class right now is only 32 students. So I'm not sure with our enrollment, how much of a difference that has made too between the senior class last year and this year. I'm hoping numbers will come up, and slowly but surely from the high school, we are seeing that that the lunch numbers are coming up and the kids are starting to come in and eat rather than back at home. I kept checking on the community eligible provision so that all kids could eat breakfast and lunch for free in our district. We are currently at 39% at the elementary, 38% at the high school, and the minimum percentage to even begin to apply for that is 40%. In April, we were just at 40% for the elementary school, but we did not qualify for the high school.
So is that what Red Bank's doing?
It's called a community eligible provision, and you said, and the numbers for that cannot be income based. So our free reduced paid lunch, if anybody's on SNAP or temporary assistance for needy families, homeless, migrant, foster, that kind of stuff will directly certify from the state system into my cafeteria system. And those kids will automatically come across. If they fill out a paper application or online and it's income based, those numbers do not count in our free percentage. So the only numbers that count are the ones that are directly certified through the state because they are on another type of assistance such as Medicaid. So although with our income based, we would be up closer to 50%, without our income applications, we don't meet the percentage that we need. And when you meet the lowest percentage, you have to make sure that you have enough paid kids eating, or enough free kids eating, because reduced and paid are lumped together. The number of those kids and your reimbursement is what needs to cover the cost of the paid kids that we aren't charging. Anything that isn't covered by that is paid for out of the general fund. So we have to.
Did you see what Red Bank had posted about, I think it was a Facebook post? Attention families, did you see that?
No, I did not.
Please check your email for information regarding a household income survey. Because all students are receiving free lunches this year, we need to gather income information from each family. This information is confidential, allows us to participate in programs and receive money from various sources, and that was from the school district.
Right, so, and Dr. McDivitt and I had talked, and I had always hoped that we could maybe require a family to fill out the free and reduced lunch form just to try and boost our numbers, but because there is an income on there, I can't make somebody put that down on a piece of paper. I just can't, and there are families that just won't, and I know I talked to another employee that works back in the office, and she says they get them every year, and the school district has them fill them out. So I don't know if maybe that's something we can look at further, but, I know in the past that, and I think that even back when Mrs. Brinker was here, I know that the cafeteria has always kind of pushed for us to try and get everybody to fill that out, so we could put a little further, but because of that income information, they just didn't feel comfortable with everybody to put that down on paper if that's not something they wanted to do. So I will keep watching the numbers. So I was really tickled when free breakfast came out because that's going to be fantastic. So I'll keep watching the numbers and hopefully we'll get more in that drug certification category than we do income based, but the income based is not counted in that percentage. So we can't use it. I don't have federal reimbursement numbers for you for this month for August. The paperwork is done. The federal government has that all shut down now until they can figure out what they want to use as a reimbursement rate. So until they get the rates straight in the system, they've got it completely shut down for reimbursements until they decide how they're going to. There's a 2 and a 5 cent thing that they can agree on for reimbursement. So once they get that straightened out, then I'll be able to do my first reimbursement. I'm hoping by the beginning of October, I can put August in, I have it ready to go, and then I'll have September, and then I can report on those in October. Supply wise, we've been able to get everything that I've ordered until this week. So there was one item I ordered for both schools, and it was ordered but not shipped. And they're kind of thinking with the free breakfast coming into play that we may see a little more of that. With this coming as such a surprise, our U.S. Foods distributor did not have the amount in stock that we are all going to need. We all put in before the end of the school year, what we think we're going to need for lunch and for breakfast for the school year, and they order accordingly so that they can stock all of that. While none of us ordered in for breakfast for all the kids, we just ordered in for the number of kids that we bought. So I think the next few weeks could be a little touch and go, but so far it's been really, really well. Oh, and one more thing, I needed some more time down here for staff. So I had a 3 3/4 hour position at the high school that I brought down, and I sent a 3-hour position back up to the high school. We've implemented the fresh salads, the fresh veggies, and we're making those as they're, not as they're ordered, but the kids are able to order those and the staff as well. So in making those, it was taking a lot of additional time. So I brought that down. I think, depending on how this breakfast goes, we're only having one staff there this time to run all that. Now, we don't have to bag it, so it should go a little quicker in the morning getting it ready. But if I run into trouble, we may have to see if taking the salads out until we get breakfast running through and then putting them back in. Because we've just got the kids now that we have going through, they've got their numbers down, they see what the process is. We've got 3 years of kids that have never done anything but walk through and grab a bag with a sandwich or a bag with a cereal. So them having to come through and figure out what they need to take to make a full tray is taking us a little longer. But we're not getting done at 8:10 anymore, we were done at 5:08 this morning, so we'll take it and we'll just see how it goes. But so far, it's been a pretty smooth start to the school year. That's all I have.
Thank you. So letter H, consideration to approve a partnership with Spirit Group LLC contingent upon the PCCB Safety and Mental Health Grant for provision of behavioral health services for the 2022-2023 and the 2023-2024 school year at a rate of $75 per hour for 7 to 14 hours per week as attached.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries.
For I, am I filling in these gaps?
We gotta figure out, if we want to do 12 months or 24 months. So you probably want to read the motion, and then once we approve it, we can discuss.
Okay. Letter I, consideration to approve the natural gas contract with UGI Energy Services LLC beginning October 1st, 2022 at a rate of $20 per key for 20 months.
And as you see, Andrew has been keeping us updated on the rates, and they seem as if they're trending back up. And we feel as if we should make a motion this evening to get locked in. I think the big discussion is, do we lock in at 12 months or 24 months? If we had a crystal ball and we were looking at the future, I'd probably make a recommendation, but right now, we're not really sure. Even the contact person is not making a recommendation.
Dave, what was our last contract? How long did we-
It was a 2-year contract, yeah.
But it was a lot lower. Yeah. I personally lean toward the 24-month. I don't think it's gonna go down.
I'd agree.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, the 24-month one too.
What'd you say, Brady?
I'm thinking the 24-month one too.
Oh, I hear on the news is how much it's going up.
What, Diane?
Oh, I hear on the news is how much it's gonna be going up.
Yeah, so are you guys, everybody looks like they're okay with the lower rate, which is a 24-month contract?
Yeah.
Okay. So the motion was made, and we'll fill it in with $7.06 for 24 months. So we need a second on that,
Second.
okay? Any other discussion? I mean, if it drops to 2 and we're locked in, we're stuck, but I don't foresee that happening, but who knows? At least we're getting a little lower rate than $7.79.
What's that?
For president, what, 2 years, right? He's halfway through. So who knows, you know? Okay, so all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, thanks, Meg. We're gonna move on to personnel, and I'm gonna ask Eric, would you like to do that for us?
Sure. A, consideration to approve job specific aid job description attached.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on that description? Okay, not seeing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
B, consideration to approve hiring Daniel Woods as a part-time, $3.75 per day child specific aid upon receipt of all appropriate documentation, contingent upon a 60 workday probationary period at an hourly rate of $12 per hour. Upon completion of the 60 workday probationary period, the hourly rate will be $13 per hour. So,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
C, consideration to approve advertising for 2 full-time child specific aid. So,
Moved and seconded. This is coming about from the discussion we've had with the special ed department. We're short-staffed, we're not meeting compliance for IEPs. We tried to get part-time aides instead of full-time, but we're not having any luck. Who knows if we'll get full-time aides, but at least we're trying, so. That's why it's been added to the agenda. I guess we'll see where we are with this next month and see if we're meeting compliance with all those recommendations and IEPs and then go from there. So, any other questions or discussion?
Just a comment, we'll post this internally. We do have a couple of part-time aides right now, and we also have 2 aides that are being paid for through the ESSA grant. So I'll be working with the association and move some people around to fill our needs right now. I can report back.
So we could be looking for more part-time aides again, which we
We
can't
might be
seem to
able,
fill.
we might be able to absorb everything that we have right now and just go from part-time to full-time.
Okay, that would be good. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Excuse me.
D, consideration to approve hiring Brianna Sellers for the vacated junior high school basketball head coach position upon receipt of all appropriate documentation at a supplemental salary of $1,667. So,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
E, consideration to accept the letter of resignation from Michael Crowe as assistant junior high girls basketball coach dated September 12, 2022 as attached. So,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve advertising for vacated assistant junior high girls basketball coach position. So,
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Could I ask, maybe this is just me that needs it, could we have a list of all the sports with all the coaches and assistants and then all the volunteers for each one? Is that something that would be hard to put together? I don't know if the rest of you would like that or not. It's hard to keep track when
We've asked for that in the past,
yeah, when we have resignations and we add, and I think it would be helpful if we all had that list so we know who's doing what.
And we had asked for a volunteer list too, I think, at one time. Because then.
We did.
We did, because there's volunteers that are
Right.
coaching and.
And I don't know on the volunteer list if you could list what they're for, Tammy. I mean, I know some are for a lot of things, but, all right, thanks, Tammy. You could just email that to us if you get a chance, or put it in the Google site. Thank you. Sorry, Eric, go ahead.
so did we already vote on that?
Yes,
On the sheet. Consideration to approve the correct list dated August 18, 2022 of students, numbers of hours, and costs per student with regard to the AmeriCorps program as follows. co-op working half the day, 450 hours, district share 1,500 per student, paid by Title IV. 7 guys. Brian Cooper, Tyler Conrad, Kieran McKay, Jen Stepanucci, and Billy Whitman. Study halls during 300 hours total. During the study hall, district share 1,200 per student, paid for by Title IV, Gavin Burke, Mia Evans, and Ty McNamara. So.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Everybody understands what that is. In other words, those students are working through AmeriCorps, but they're assisting us here on campus with tutoring and other things that are, so they've been a great help. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
H, consideration to approve the request from Juanita Stiglitz to be a volunteer with the district junior high varsity cheer PL Sarah for the 2022-23 school year as attached. All required documents are currently on file in the district office. So. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I, consideration to approve the request from Bobby Gardner to be named volunteer with the cheerleading program for the 2022-23 school year as attached. All required documents are currently on file in the district office. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
J, consideration to approve the request from Jessica Lemon to remain a volunteer with the PTO for the 2022-23 school year as attached. All required documents are currently on file in the district office. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay, consideration to proactively approve the request from employee number 131 to use September 9th, 2022 as an unpaid leave as a bench. So. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
L, consideration to approve the request from employee number 82 to utilize sick days concurrent with the FMLA leave as needed. So. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Eric. Corey, would you like to do instructional services for us?
Letter A, elementary report.
Thanks, Frank. Well, we've kicked off a good year so far. The second Friday of September, we held our annual PBIS kickoff, which hadn't been annual for the last couple of years due to the COVID pandemic and keeping kids separated. But it was great to all be back in the gym together and get that kicked off in the morning. And then they spent the day going throughout the building to different stations where they learned how to be a star, which is our tag down here in all the different places in the building. I wanted to thank our PBIS team and all the teachers involved in pulling off the day. Everybody had a station they were responsible for, and it took a lot of moving parts to make the day happen and keep things from being chaotic. Special thanks to Jamie Simpson, our resident DJ, for bringing in his equipment to kick the day off in the gym, and Janie Cook for providing the bus for the day so the students could actually get onto the bus to learn about being a star on the bus. And we did post some things on Facebook, so if you haven't seen that yet, you can check that out back at the beginning of school. This week, we start our community collaboration with Clarion County SAFE, which is Stop Abuse for Everyone. Two of the programs that we run through them will start on September 21st, so this Wednesday. That is Too Good for Violence in 6th grade and Healthy Choices in 4th grade. And those programs are 8 and 9 weeks respectively, I believe, and that puts them ending just before Thanksgiving break. We did send informative letters home to the parents of students in 4th and 6th grade so that they knew about the programs and what their topics were. Steph Best is starting a new program. It's a one-time program called Book Blast that she's running in conjunction with Books Are Fun. She began footwork for this back in the spring, asking me for permission to pursue it, and worked over the summer to get everything set up for this fall. Their mission is to guarantee putting a new book in the hands of every student in the elementary school. The teachers will be doing a 10-minute video-based staff meeting with the company, Books Are Fun, at our September 29th in-service to go over the program. And then the students will get a video-based introduction for the launch. Parents will receive emails and/or remind type messages regarding the parent portion of Book Blast on their site, and then how they can participate from home. And lastly, the open house is September 29th from 4:30 to 6:30 here at the elementary school, and we look forward to welcoming our families on that day. At open house, our PTO is sponsoring a basket raffle to benefit our PBIS program here at the elementary school. So all the proceeds that they make are donated to our PBIS team to use for rewards or bringing in programs for the kids. The PTO is accepting basket and/or monetary donations up until September 23rd. So for anyone out there who would like to still donate, there is time through the end of the week. And chances on the baskets will be sold for the 2 hours at open house. And that's it. I mean, I do have a transportation note. I filed the transportation report. David signed off on it, and we got the email that it was accepted. So big relief off of my plate. And I know that's in the transportation section, but I figured I'd mention it now.
Thank you.
That's all.
Dr. Ward, secretary.
It was also a fairly quiet start to the school year at high school. Friday, believe it or not, is actually the midterm for the first 9 weeks. So the year's already flying by. We also had our PBIS kickoff at the high school. We focused on teaching appropriate behaviors in the cafeteria and also other specific areas of school. But we focused on the cafeteria and attendance issues, being that we used data and looked at last year and saw where the problems were occurring most. I also would like to thank my PBIS team. They really take everything and just run with it. And the high school has done this a number of times. The students seem to enjoy it and learn at the same time about what behaviors are expected of them. We also met for our first mentoring meeting of the year, and that's grades 9, 10, 11, and 12 this year, meeting with their mentors. The 7th and 8th grade meet with me down in the gymnasium to do some activities. The mentors discussed information specific to students. So for instance, the seniors, they discussed finalizing any requirements that they need for graduation, and also the presentation that they plan on doing, which is tentatively scheduled for April 21 this year, actually 2023, this school year. They also discussed other topics related to other students and their progress in doing their community service or their career and college visits, things like that. I met with my core content teachers. We held our first data meeting of the year. This is something pretty new to what we do. We focused on looking at student performance data mostly, but really taking a look at all kinds of data. Perceptual data, how people feel about things, process data, the things that we do that makes the school work, and the benchmark and performance data from the states. What we did is we really just pulled all that information together and started to break those students into groups so that we can be a little more effective in our interventions with those students that are not meeting the benchmark standards that we expect. We looked at proficiency on state testing, and we can share some of that with this group later on. But we plan to continue to monitor student progress based upon those benchmark testings and what it looks like at the end of the year with PSSAs and Keystones, and trying to give students extra assistance if they're not meeting those standards. Under athletic, I would like to say that today was the final match for our golf team. Next week, we'll begin the playoffs for golfers, and we wish them the best of luck. That's it for me. I'd like to turn it over to Grace, though, for the student report.
As Mr. Jordan said, the fall sports they've started, so that consists of volleyball, golf, cheerleading, football, cross country. And this weekend It'll be on Saturday from 7 to 10 here at the elementary school. There is going to be homecoming. The theme this year is Arabian Nights. And throughout this week, to kind of get ready for homecoming, both the elementary school and the high school are participating in a Spirit Week. And tomorrow is Beach Day.
That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, letter C, federal programs report.
Carrie and I have been working really hard to close out all of our title grants from last year and get that final reporting in. We have gotten the application for the safety and mental health grant in. We do not have an award letter yet, so we can't start spending out those funds yet, but we're expecting that to be coming soon. We've just been working really hard on tracking all the money, and we plan on meeting again this week to see where we stand with the ESSER funds and any changes that we may have had, so we can kind of plan on that in the upcoming years and how it's going to be spent as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, letter D, district report.
All right, Corey. I just have a number of safety updates for you this evening, all based off of Act 55 of 2020. Keep in mind that we have a number of policies on the agenda for approval that's directly aligned with these changes. Threat assessment, school safety and security, and food service program. Just like Andrea said about the safety and security grant, it's run through the PCCD organization, and the grant window was up on August 31st. So we projected, they had 3 tiers that we had to utilize as a survey, and you have to meet the requirements on tier 1 before you move on. So I explained to you a few of the items that we had projected. We could always make changes to it, and if approved, then we'll continue to move forward as Andrea talked about. There's a mental health and then the physical safety. We got just over $109,000 for each. And what we're looking for mental health right now is we approved the Spirit group this evening for 2 days of social work. There will be one at the high school, one at the elementary, and then also one additional day with the social worker out of IU6. In addition to that, we found a program, it's called Rhythm, that a couple of the neighboring school districts utilizing. These students go in the morning, and the teachers are able to take 3 to 5 minutes possibly to check the mental and emotional well-being of their students. Very simple survey for them to take. We're still looking at the program. We just penciled it in to see if it would meet some of our needs right now. That would be able to provide the teacher and then counselor with specific information about students if they're having a difficult time. There's a really good communication piece on it that the teacher could contact the counselor if the student's having a bad morning and maybe pull them out or her out to have a discussion with. School safety, we just penciled in a 3-year agreement with the Emmington Police Department. Keep in mind, we've advertised several times to hire a police officer, and we just haven't found the right candidate. We're still working with the Emmington Borough to see what that agreement looks like, because we're just in the very preliminary stages of it right now. They don't even have their officers. But again, part of that grant, we penciled that in. In addition to that, we put in to get a Chevy Equinox for Officer Sittler so that he can patrol the campus. And we also have some additional money, and we're looking at window coverings, which I'll have to get the picture sent out to the school board. We had a company come in and render up some drawings. And then finally, we had $11,950 that we're going to put into internal communication devices. So we're working with the technology department on trying to get that put together. And then we are going to have a safety drill later on this week as well that will be conducted with buildings. Threat assessment, just keep that in mind. Policy 236.1, I addressed this last week, but there's a lot of training and mandates that are associated with that, not only for the threat assessment team, but also the safety and security coordinator as well. I'm spent today and then Tuesday and Wednesday getting SAP trained again. Training's good, just 3 days out of the office. And then we have policy 805, emergency preparedness and response. And they're coming up with a committee that's going to add additional trainings into the safety and security coordinator as well. So they're still trying to develop the committee to develop the training requirements. So more to come on that. We'll update policy 805.2, which is school security personnel. And the big change in that is just the fact that the safety coordinator has to be SAP trained. And then we talked about the AmeriCorps program. The kids come down every day from the high school and work throughout the elementary. So we have students in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, and then the 5, 6 community. And it's pretty neat to see that happen. And it's another small way of us trying to promote the profession of teaching. And as we know, statewide shortage, there's limited substitutes out there. So that's just another aspect to that program that is absolutely wonderful and stuff that we're doing here at AC Valley. Foxburg Water Authority, I stay in contact with the committee over there, and they provided some updates. I'll put these into your report as well. But they've done numerous flushing of the town water lines. They applied for the LSA grant. They went out for bids for replacing valves on North Palmer Avenue. And then they're planning to purchase and replace water meters as well. So the committee is doing a lot to stay on top of it. And then youth football, we work closely with them. They just put in a new shed up by the track area. Myself, just a couple more quick updates here. I did attend the 2022 Pennsylvania School Safety Conference down in Sheridan. In Pittsburgh, Dr. Jeff Fuller was there, Deputy Secretary from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. There was a keynote speaker, Eric Garner. He was a teacher at the Stoneman Douglas High School where the mass shooting took place, and he shared his perspective and provided great insight as far as not only items associated with their safety plan, but the aftermath as well. There was several police officers down there. There was a section on Rise of Hate, which was presented by the Community Engagement of Heritage Affairs. And there was also Master Trooper Jay Boniford down there, and he did a piece on risk and vulnerability assessments. And then there was a psychologist from the U.S. Secret Service there, and she talked about the threat assessment model, and they analyze data every year and send it out to school districts across the United States. And there's various trends that were written within there, but she was actually the one who wrote the report and was fantastic with her communication. And then we finish off with Dr. Jack Russell from the Medical Directors Center, and he had a piece on connecting the dots. And part of the training that we have is to identify any kind of threats or any kind of possible, problems with our student body and how we can identify that, trying to be out in front of it. And then just as the principals I talked about, we do have the Act 80 Day on September 29th, and I've been working with Bill and Lori about developing an agenda for the day. So from 11:30 and noon to the beginning of open house, there's a number of sessions that we'll be working with. I'm going to specifically be working with the music department, and we're going to pull out the curriculum and start analyzing what we're doing with the K through 12 and see if we can't get more of students involved in that program at the junior senior high school. And Corey, that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right. Next, consideration to approve 2022-2023 organizational chart as attached. So
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the chart? Not seeing any. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
all right, and just a note here that enrollment numbers are attached as listed there. And last, school police report.
I did 36 perimeter checks, 36 inside checks, 33 lunch details, 3 parking lot checks, 22 arrival checks with details, 17 dismissal details, assisted the administration 29 times, Camera checks at least 36 every time I'm in the office. It's all goes right down. Attended one safety meeting, directed traffic 17 times, and did 133.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to policy. Janine, do you want to do policy?
Letter A, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 236.1, threat assessment as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 805, emergency preparedness and response as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion on that policy? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item C, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 805.2, school security personnel as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion on that policy? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item D, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 808, food services as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion on that policy? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item E, consideration to approve the second reading of policy number 218, student discipline as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to facilities, Mr. Milford.
We've been very busy. Replaced the exhaust fan on the roof of the high school office. They talked about the youth football getting a building. We had to cut down several trees. There's some dead trees out there. We took down several of those. I met with the Selena from the Oil Region Alliance Community Gardens up here. They're getting a shed also, a tool shed for their mowers and trimmers. We cut down trees today for that, making room above all that. We changed 3 street lights before school started. We painted the beams on the scoreboard. The tractor power takeoff was not working. We've got order parts ready today, and I ordered part today, got it fixed. Power takeoff working again, so we're back to those. A lot of schools starting up, a lot of furniture, shelving, tables to put together for teachers, some of the other supplies that come in this summer. They need a lot of extra help putting stuff together, so everybody's busy putting things together in the first week of school, so. Other than that, everything's going well. We've had fire drills at both schools. We've had 2 at high school. Ready for one of the elementary in the month of September. High school is done. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, Diane, I'm going to move on to you for transportation. Now, you can lump those together, all of them. Yeah, whatever, well, you have to do the, adding the equipment separate, but all the contracts you could lump together and just mention their names.
A consideration to approve the request from Tracy Irwin Transportation to add Derwin Leonard pending receipt of all appropriate documentation and an interview with the administration as a substitute driver.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
B, consideration to approve the request from Pam Myers Transportation to add Tammy Bartley pending receipt of all appropriate documentation and an interview with the administration as a substitute driver.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
C, consideration to approve the request from Pam Myers Myers Transportation Incorporated to add a 2012 Honda Odyssey van number 4918 to her fleet. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
I think I can lump D through G.
Yep.
Okay. Consideration to retroactively approve the extracurricular activities transferration contracts between AC Valley School District, Stanley Bailey, Robert Bussing, Jennifer Callender, Martha Jane Cook. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I'm gonna lump I through F.
Don't forget H.
Okay. H through M. Consideration to retroactively approve the Career Center Transportation contract between AC Valley and Bailey Busing Company and Bailey, Walter Busing.
That's just a single thing. H is just a
Each
single.
one, so.
Oh, okay. Bailey Busing Company dated August 24th, 2022, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
So now I think I can lump I through F.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Consideration to retroactively approve the 2022-2023 bus contracts with Robert Busing, Bailey Busing, Calendar Transportation, Martha Jane Cook, and Marcia Bullock for dated August 24th, 2022, as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
No, I think I can lump N through R.
Yep, I think so.
Okay. Consideration to retroactively approve the 2022-2023 van contracts with Irwin Transportation, Randy McClendon, Cam Myers, Kelly Stefanis. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
What about Michelle?
Yeah, I think we missed Michelle Weiss.
Okay, let's have Michelle on right there. So moved.
Okay, moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We need to liven this place up a little bit here.
So quiet.
They're so quiet tonight. All right, Brady, will you do the miscellaneous for us?
Sure. Career Center report. A copy of the August 2022 meetings of the Joint Operating Committee are attached. These meetings will be reviewed and approved the next regular JOC meeting.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot that happened. Diane got to experience the meeting. The only thing I would say, if you had time, read the minutes, because Tracy does give quite a bit of information just on some things that she's been working on, so.
The building looked great.
Yeah, it's really helpful on both sides.
The IU report, Carrie said she was absent this week. Correspondence.
Carrie emailed that. Carrie did send an email with her.
Oh,
The IU report,
I must
yes.
have missed that one, did my bad.
Yeah.
Email relate.
Oh, okay. Technology committee.
Yes, and I need to apologize to Brady. I don't know, are you on the committee, Brady, or did you just came to the meeting? I think just Diane and I are on the committee.
Did we have a meeting?
We did, and my fault, I did not send you an update, and that's totally me, because I missed you and I missed RJ, and I apologize, and I sent you an email earlier and apologized, so I'm gonna do it again. But we're gonna have another one soon, because we gotta make some decisions about some of the items that we're buying with the grant money, but I'll fill you in just a little bit. Couple of things we talked about tonight, things seem to be going well. As far as we had issues with breakage last year, but now that the elementary kids aren't taking their devices home every night, that seems to have helped that. They can take them home if the teacher requests, there's something they're working on, but they're not taking them home every night because we were afraid of, school being canceled with COVID. It was a little rough getting the iReady assessments going, but I think they've got that kind of worked out. Let me see what else. They now have all the Chromebooks on the same charger, so that's not an issue about which charger. And they have them all in the carts down here. They're going to give each teacher an extra charger in case they need to send one home with the kid if they're going to be on vacation or something to that effect. If they do take their Chromebooks home now, they're charged here, but they won't have a charger at home. We are going to work, and they're going to get some bids to do the internal communications portion of the grant that David mentioned. Jeff and Aaron are looking at some different options. Our area makes it very difficult to do any kind of communication. Lori brought up the fact that we've been kicking the can on this for a while, but we really need to think about what we're going to do with our buses because we don't have a radio system in our buses. And she needs to get a hold of them, and they're out of cell phone range. They have to pull the bus over the road to answer the cell phone or whatever. So communication is a key issue that we were discussing, and I know Jeff and Aaron are going to do some research. Also, the cameras on the buses aren't always the best. They can't see what's happening. So we talked about even simple game cameras might work better than what we currently have. So that's an issue. They're going to monitor, or they're going to look at some software for monitoring the computers to make it easier for the staff. Jeff wanted me to let you know that the new core switching's been put in, the new firewall, the sonic wall is set up, and they're doing a great job. So is there anything I missed, those of you that were at the meeting? It's kind of what we talked about. So we'll be having another meeting in the next, we're not sure when you need to have that money spent, David, so at some point we kind of need to know when we need to meet to discuss what we're going to do about the communications portion of it.
Sounds good. As soon as they approve the application, I'll share that information out.
Okay, so that's basically what our tech meeting was.
All right, thanks. Athletic committee.
We did not have one.
Okay. The football field renovation. Last meeting, it was just myself, David, and Chris, and David looked at some grants through the conservation district, and most of them are like dollar for dollar match. And then the other thing with those grants, anything with federal money, you have to be ADA compliant with everything. I mean, so we'd have to put handicap parking spots like at the field. And so our issue right now is trying to just find grants that will cover it, that don't require dollar for dollar matches. That's sort of just where we're at right now. We need to have a concrete plan of what we want to have happen and a timeline for it. And we're not really sure of that, so we're just in limbo at the moment.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why they aren't starting any fundraising?
And a couple of us on the committee, we feel in order to do the fundraising, we need to have a concrete plan. We need to have a really good idea of what it's going to cost. We need to have a timeline because I don't feel comfortable taking donations if we don't have a plan or a cost, and it's going to take, if it takes 5 years, that's fine, but if we don't know how long it's going to take, I don't feel comfortable taking money. I don't know about that.
I agree.
Finance committee, I don't think we've done.
We did.
Thank you. Old business. Remember that our October 17th meeting will be held at the Clarion County Career Center beginning at 6. I thought we discussed that might change.
Yeah, well, Tracy will be there at 5 o'clock, so I invite everybody up there for a half-hour tour, and then we'll have food to follow. So from 5 to 5:30, we'll get into the different shops. 5:30 to 6, we'll eat. If you have a conflict, you could just wrap at 6 o'clock as normal. But I'd encourage everybody to come up with a tour and then to have some food from their culinary arts program. 5 o'clock, please.
Okay. We'll remind you about that in our workshop meeting too for October. Do we have any new business?
Ellen, do we need to do anything with this letter from Emma Box?
Yes.
That would be new business. Okay. Would you like to do that, Jimmy?
Sure. Consider, well, is there a salary with this then? Do we need to put that down?
We don't have that salary available with us. And you probably don't remember what it is. It's your coach.
I heard that 1207.
Oh, 1207. Thank you.
Okay, so consideration to approve Emma Fox as the assistant varsity cheerleading coach at a salary of $1,207. She has all of her clearances on file, so this will be effective immediately, I assume, at that point then? Okay, all right, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I call for a 5-minute, I promise, just 5-minute executive session following the meeting for personnel reasons? And I think, is there anything else for this evening? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, right? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks.
Are we in here?
Yeah, we just have a couple